Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
You know what? I talked to your mayor.
I like my haters like my coffee extra mad and bitter. And then they're loyal like juice, so yeah, the man's a quitter. He's strapped face up behind the platinum grill. I style faceless, just spit these mic skills. And in the street killer, I will not be denied. That I'm mic'd up, I raise my head with pride. A force of nature cruising the whip, doing walk-bys on your boulevard. Face my verbal clip. In this land of live streams, baby, I'm on the road. Got my feet on the media, scraping them up my soles. It's that umbrella guy facing the accusers. Cleated out size 14s, crushing all those losers. It's that umbrella guy, they said we couldn't make it. Never ask permission, just sense, I'll go and take it. The media buzzwords, they will never save you. Listen and believe it's meant to enslave you. Challenging the hypocrites, and baby, I'm on fire. They flash titles like they're royalty, but it's true that I'm a journalist. Scribble nursey rhymes, one in this grill in a basket, with a tisket and a tasket, and their morals in a casket. No morals in a casket. They're always pushing make believe and weaving straw to gold, but I'm sick of all the fairy tales and buying what I'm sold. Strolling into the backyard, taking truth on tour, baby, there is sickness, and that umbrella guy's got the cure. Look, it's that umbrella guy knocking at the door. No more ministry of truth than the plot of 1984. They're dumping all my verbal clips. The case is filled with knowledge. They're on the mic like kindergarten, and I'm taking them to college. Why the mask, baby? Cause this has to be a crime. I'll take the mic and boom, they're in the chalk outline. I used to throw elbows, but now I'm dropping nukes. You wrote another hit piece, isn't that cute? And the worst part, they'll never learn it before the stakes start channeling, crash and burn. They pretend that we need to get their permission. That umbrella guy crushing their ambitions. You're not my competition, it's that umbrella. It's that umbrella guy steamrolling them out for fun. Mic check, mic wreck, paging this army of one. There's no hesitation, no doubt, not even a scintilla. The Tokyo baby and me, I'm Godzilla. Crushing them like Godzilla, like Godzilla.
What's up, folks? How's it going today? Welcome to a Saturday edition. That's right. Was thinking, man, what is going on? By the way, I forgot to tag a video tonight. because I do that on weekends a lot. So if you would, please let people know that we are live. That's right, baby. Tell them we are live tonight. We got some fun stuff to talk about. Man, oh man. You talk about, there's a few things that you don't do. And one of those is defy a judge. When I say defy a judge too, I mean quite literally defy a judge. Remember, right now, we have two things going on. Two things that you really shouldn't forget about. There's one of those wonderful things is the fact that the case, of course, the federal case number 1, it's on hiatus. I'm sure most of you probably remember that. You remember that the judge made it pretty dang clear that right now we're not doing anything. So right off the bat, if you had anything going on with the federal case, anything that's been shoved in there, you're not supposed to be doing that. On top of it, too, if you try, let's say, to shove in a summary judgment motion, that's also a big no-no. And that also is something that the judge has not been happy about. I mean, the judge has been irritated enough that we saw it come up in the April 3rd hearing. When we were talking about that, we went over the transcript for that, myself and Megan, we did. Now, in that, we saw, the judge was not happy at all. He said, I told you folks essentially not to be doing that. I said, no more of those summary judgments, and we got them again, basically. Summary judgment filed right after that. Like, I keep striking all that stuff. So what happens in here? What do you think John Cook did? He filed summary judgments. That's right. Now, if you don't remember, if you haven't kept up with this portion, this back end portion of this, what we've had going on, it's kind of fascinating here because we had a discussion about how the last move that the lulyer wanted to do, OBBB wanted to pull, he wanted to put in a summary judgment filing. You remember that little discussion there? He was like, well, Judge, I decided I would quit this case, but I would stick around if you would let me, maybe to file this summary judgment motion that I talked about. Well, the judge was like, nah, I don't want that. I don't want that. You know what? You can hit the bricks. So you would have thought their big plan, what you find out there is they were waiting around to file a summary judgment. Let me see. Let me pull that up, actually, okay? So you'll remember this. I'm going to pull up two things and show you, okay? First of all, I'm going to show you one item where the judge was like, yo, no more summary judgment. He even mentions it, like I said, in the April the 3rd hearing, where we only had one lawyer pop up, but he's mentioned this in other filings too. He said, no more summary judgment. You can see him talking about, look, we got all these motions for summary judgment. You see him talking about right that. I strike all of those. He's like, I don't want those. So he's made it pretty damn clear that not only is he not wanting those, but he's mad when you keep filing them, right? So maybe that wouldn't be a smart thing. The thing was, though, that before Brucey Bruce bailed, he wanted to put in a summary judgment motion. Like, even though the judge had said, no way, no how, don't do that. That was his big argument. It was part of his big master plan. The undersigned, that would be Bruce. He could postpone his withdrawal. Give me 1 second here. Let me Let me mute my fizzone. I heard it beeping. 1 second there. All right, there we go. Here we go, right here. This is actually on page, what page is this actually? Let me make sure. Okay, it's page 10. I was going to say 9, so I'm glad I looked. On document 130 by Bruce, he had said, you know what, Judge? I know that I said that I want to leave this case, but I would actually stick around. I would set that aside. That would be document 126 until after the outcome of a to be filed motion for summary judgment. A to be filed motion for summary judgment. Now, like I said, this case is on pause. You remember that. And even though the case is on pause, even though the judge has been like, yo, no filings, don't do that. Guess what John Cook decided to do? He decided that he was going to file that motion for summary judgment. Not only was he going to file that motion for summary judgment, but guess what? He was going to mess it up and he was going to file it twice. That's right. He was going to file it once with without a document that they needed on it. And secondly, with it. So if you actually look on the docket, and props again to MaxLab, as always, buddy. I appreciate you there. But what's hilarious about this is if you look at the docket, they filed this 2 times. You can see it here. You can actually see, give me 1 second. You can see, actually, I'll just pull the document themselves. I'll flash them both up here. They're the same document pretty much, except they have one of them has an addition to it. It's no big addition, but still, for all intents and purposes, it is the same document. So you'll see, here's document 137, right? John Cook's motion for summary judgment. And if you're like, that must be the same document, right? Well, yeah, of course. Look, this was prepared by my former counsel prior to being discharged. So that is, of course, I love, by the way, they put in being, with the discharge, the court, they see that as termination, by the way, just to make that clear again, that quote unquote discharge. Yeah, they look at that just like you would look at something. Discharge is never a good word. I mean, when you think about it, think about if you went to the doctor and you said, you know what? I'm having this discharge. That's not a good thing, right? Well, so too is that in the court of law. So the court actually calls that another thing. They call that what's funny. Like this is funny, by the way. So Megan had texted something, and that was what you heard, the bing on there. And afterwards, she texted. She was like, "Whoops!" And then her next message there was beep, like bing. That's hilarious. People crack me up with stuff like that. That's hilarious there. And by the way, though, Just J Hip is going to be streaming later on tonight, so we will definitely send people to that too. But yeah, I mean, if you look at this stuff, I mean, this is the dumbest thing that you could actually have going on. Breaking news, mug binding. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Oh, I gotta get a drink here. Actually, they had a live stream earlier. I was invited to the live stream earlier, by the way, but it kind of happened on a whim. The DUI. If you missed this for some reason, you should definitely check it out. You had DUI guy and Megan. They put on an earlier live stream. An impromptu one, and it was kind of a good idea. I thought it was a great thing to go over. by the way. But with it not being planned first, it's a Saturday and kids have stuff going on Saturdays. So it makes it kind of hard to tune into that stuff there for me. I couldn't get on there. I would have enjoyed going on there. I think it would have been fun. But now, when we're going over this, the funny thing about this filing here today, too, that we're reviewing, let me pull this up here. The beautiful thing about this, just to note, is the judge did not enjoy this in any way, shape, or form. In fact, the judge shot this thing down without looking at it at all. How do I know that he shot it down without looking at it at all? Well, we got our order that came in. You can actually see it on the docket here. You can see that the judge is going to shoot this down, and this came in within, I'm going to say, I think Max said would be the authority on the time, but I'm going to say within 2 hours, it got shot down. I thought that was amazing. And the judge notes right there that this case is stayed. We're on break right now. There is nothing going on whatsoever. There should be no filings whatsoever. And what was funny about it is that it wasn't, it was done as a big own. And you could tell it was like that because you had a certain channel out there that tried to hype beast this as if this were going to be the giant own. The PR channel. Check this out. This is hilarious because they actually broadcast this like this was going to be the big, the big freaking drop here. Breaking news. John Cook files for motion for summary judgment. Although there is a stay on the case, so it's stricken, he may have to refile it. Whoopsie. Take a look-see at the Exhibit C. We will look at Exhibit C, by the way. It's funny. Bruce is big, so his big thing was, guess what this is, by the way. What do you think their big reveal to it? John Cook doesn't have a whatnot account under his name. It's like you don't actually have to have a name, like an account under your name to interfere with somebody's business. You do understand that, right? I mean, you do. At the end of the day, you also have this giant hurdle to clear. It's called the defamation hurdle. And the defamation hurdle, it's fascinating because I actually found yet another instance, by the way, of them talking about him and saying that he was some type of, I'm going to say a predator, as far as Hales is concerned. I found another instance that I didn't remember. See, that's fascinating. I've been going through and I've been organizing every filing, that I have. I've been going over every screenshot, trying to go through every image that's out there that I could think of, because there's been a lot. Let's just say, I'm sure that if you've kept up with this case, I mean, you could agree with that. There are a lot of filings. Not just filings. There's a lot of. Let me see. Is this the right one? See, this is one that I actually had forgotten about, and it's got a. 1 second. This, it's a shot at John. It brings Jeremy up, and it actually says something bad about John, but in the way that it's worded, it's bad with Jeremy too. It works as a freaking allegation against him. Let me bring this up while I'm thinking about it. So there was actually a message where she said, John's making her leave today. He said he doesn't effing care. She's got to go. Well, when she goes, he's going with her because he's just as dangerous, just as abusive as Jeremy. So you figure anything that's in here, it's just as bad. This is what she says about John Cook. And again, you could attach that in there. He's an alcoholic, and I believe that he would do something bad to my daughter. By the way, that's another shot at John Cook there. But when you read that, you know, because it's such a bad wording, that it also ties in with an allegation. Like, that sounds like an allegation with them trying to take another shot at Jeremy Hills too. Oh my God, she has so many of these that are. Look at this. This is crazy, by the way. Let me show you this real fast. So I've been going in and I've been organizing all these screenshots and stuff. Give me 1 second here. Let me pull this up for you. Check this madness out. I mean, we are talking about like just anything. I'm organizing everything that has been in this mess. And look at this. And then we'll go over this document. Give me 1 second here. This has taken me weeks to go through. So going through, you know, just filing in everything. Each one of these, some of these have like 100 or more screenshots attached to them. And there are so many different types of filings where everything falls in. Some of them I still haven't managed to categorize. That's why there's new folder types where they've actually dropped in. But, you know, some of them like are funny, where Shizzy got pulled in with emails. But like some of these, for example, the emails, I actually found another email from Bruce, for example. I didn't realize that I had. I knew he had emailed a bunch of times, but there was another email I had totally forgotten about. I mean, that's there's been so much here that I can't even keep up with every freaking email. I thought that was kind of amazing. You know, when you kind of omit somebody sending you an email that has made threats. You know, the guy that, by the way, he not only sent one, but he sent a document attachment. So in that, he was actually sending me one of their motions and telling me to go through it. And I'd totally forgotten about that he had just, you know, randomly sent in this motion. Why does that matter, by the way? You may be wondering. Well, it matters because this is a guy telling us that that we're not authorized to cover this. We can't cover, but he invited us to cover. So, you know, when your lawyer tells you that it's okay to cover, you can't entrap people and then after the fact say, well, you know what? Actually, I don't want you to cover that. Well, it's too late. You know, you don't get it both ways. You either can cover it or you can't cover it. You know, you can't have it both ways, but they tried to play it both ways. So isn't that fascinating? Let's see. What's good is a summer judgment. The kids said it's going to trial. Oh, yes, we are definitely. Are they looking for money again? They're actually, what they wanted in this particular case here, this is Fed 1. Now, remember, there's another case that's going on, too. If you've missed this, by the way, if you kind of missed out on everything that's being, you know, filed during everything, there was some confusion. And I mentioned this yesterday. You know, we had a document come up, and some people they weren't just confused about what the document meant. They were confused about what case it was attached to. There was a document that came up that was attached to Granger and Granger filing a lawsuit. See, a lot of people, they don't realize that the Grangers filed a lawsuit going after LP because of the trespass fine. See, they ended up having to spend quite a bit of money. You know, they were talking about over $50,000. I mean, that's an insane amount of money. And the fascinating thing is that these supposedly indigent people, they've had access to that money. They have, their argument is going to be pretty weak when they say that they don't have access to money. And yet, every day, I could pull you up piles of these, by the way, where they bid on rocks, on items out there. I mean, you can see like this kind of stuff. I get sent this all the time. You say, oh, well, what is that? Well, that's $100 in these stupid ass rocks that, they look very, drop shipped. Now, again, I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying they look about the same as every damn drop ship rock I could pick up anywhere else. But you have them on there saying, I love these. Soon as I can, I'll order a scoop or two. Or two, really? Are those $100 a pump? So you order like $200 in rocks? That's a weird thing to claim. I don't have any money, and you dropping hundreds on rocks. Most people I know aren't dropping hundreds on anything like that, regardless of whether or not they have a lot of money. But they certainly aren't dropping that when they're hurting for the cheddar. When I'm having trouble feeding myself and my family, I kind of don't buy rocks. It's a strange thing. I know that may be shocking to you, but it just keeps coming up. So anyway, though, if they save that money, maybe they could make a down payment on a lawyer. I'm not sure. And maybe that lawyer would say things like, shut the F up and stop filing stupid motions. They're big hitter, though, by the way. And interestingly, they, on top of that, they also filed, just to note, they put out the whatnot email address. It was actually unredacted in this. Plus, Bruce's email is still unredacted. Remember, it's doxing if somebody else does it. But I ended up redacting this, for the sake of what we're doing here. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. This was their big bombshell, though, just to say. They had whatnot here talking. Here's Bruce. Bruce, I look forward to speaking soon. Just as a preview, based on my review, I've determined this so far. Okay. Whatnot has conducted a search. This is supposed to be their bombshell. This is what they're like, oh my God, it's so great. And it gets struck. So they didn't even get to present this, by the way. So they searched for a specific contract with Whatnot Inc. and Jeremy Hales. Okay. Now check this here. Okay. Whatnot has identified primary account for Mr. Hales. Whatnot has not identified any accounts belonging to Cook or Preston or any communications right under their names. Whatnot has identified various user reports regarding Mr. Hale's conduct using Whatnot. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So there are, and Whatnot has identified at least one user report mentioning Mr. Hale's using Whatnot account in a manner which was described as an attempt to bully Miss Preston. Whoa, wait a minute. So your big bombshell, get this, your big bombshell here, and you can actually connect this to 2Ls as well, because they did a few live streams where they were talking about people going out flagging that account. Their big bombshell that they wanted to talk about was saying, well, we don't have anything that says that these people directly did something. But when you go to the bottom of it, what you find is there actually were people that were flagging this account for sure. For sure. They were flagging that account. And what's fascinating to me is while all of that flagging was going on, guess who was doing flagging? We can't connect him. We can connect him to Whatnot through emails with Randy, but guess who we can connect to flagging accounts? I'm not saying Whatnot specific, but to flagging accounts. We can connect Bruce Matskin for sure. For freaking sure. How do we do that, by the way? Well, we have the emails, baby. We have the emails where he's doing it. And guess who he was doing it on behalf of? John Cook and Lynette Preston. He was talking about representing them while he was going in and trying to flag down business and more. He, in fact, apparently he was behind the scenes showing this shit off. That's how Shara ended up with it, and it ends up going public. So their big bombshell is not really the best look in the world because, like I said, they're playing the, oh, well, we don't have their name specifically. Okay. But you have at least one contact that you can confirm was somebody trying to take down their stuff when, again, we've had their PR channel, their admitted PR channel, go out and talk about flagging this fucking thing down. You have flagging attempts for sure. For sure. And at least one of them directly used the name Michelle Preston. That's not, like I said, they filed that. That is their best attempt. Remember, when I'm saying this, I'm not saying that's everything out there either. What I'm saying is in their best attempt to try to say, oh, this stuff here doesn't exist. They admit that the name has definitely been utilized, that there were indeed flagging attempts against it. Oh, that's not the own they think it is. It's so strange. This is the document that got struck down, though. This is what Bruce was, he considered this his master stroke. When we look through that, I want you to remember that because, again, his filing, his last thing with the judge, like I said, you can see him hyping this thing. He's hype beasting it right there in this statement. He says, the undersigned and the defendants request that the court postpone issuing an order in response to the withdrawal of counsel. Remember, he put in that he had been kicked to the curb. That was document 126 until after the outcome of the to be filed motion for summary judgment outlined in footnote 9, which we'll go back to in just a second, just to note. All of the undersigned's litigation work was in preparation. So all of his work, he's saying, his big masterstroke, this was going to be this document we're going to see. Like, he hasn't filed motions for summary judgment before, by the way, but everything he did was in preparation for a summary judgment motion and any claims not dismissed under Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 12B. With discovery complete, which it's not, by the way, discovery has not been complete. In fact, we found out something even more interesting. We found out when we looked through the April the 3rd hearing, which is not wasn't widely available. Whoa, well, we actually had, funny enough, so we could go over that. We had, wait for it here, we had a fundraiser from the Antis. They ended up paying for this document that we've read over. I love that, by the way, because that document from April the 3rd, it spends pages talking about how Bruce, he's not here. He's going to get his, basically. And how the judge wants this trial going forward. Juries decide this stuff. So he's talking about it going forward. He shouldn't have to be involved in that. Juries should be deciding these issues. So this whole idea right here is absolute trash. But I love that. Like I said, they paid for that. They thought they were going to get some big own. Randy, because Randy was the only one to show up. He was the only one with balls that showed up. The other guy, he decided to crawl in a hole and pretend, oh my God, Jeremy Hales. But Randy, he sat there and you could tell it was uncomfortable. It wasn't as bad. Again, when you read through it, it's rough sitting there by yourself and having a magistrate say, why are you doing this? This stuff's horrible. You guys, I can't stand you all, basically. I know this right here. I know this stuff by heart, and I shouldn't. That's uncomfortable for sure. But what was really telling in that they didn't want to focus on is the judge was talking about, again, this stuff. I shouldn't be deciding this stuff. A jury should be deciding it. So when he's talking about, when he's making his statements about the about motions for summary judgment, he's talking about motions just like this one. That's what is so funny about them celebrating this thing. Because what they're not, again, like normal, what they're not telling people as part of this stuff is the fact that the judge doesn't want it. He doesn't want it at all. He thinks it should go forward. And again, we know Randy has another motion about discovery to file. I'm sure what that is them not turning over anything. We found that out about the April hearing. We wouldn't know about either. If you didn't catch where we went through that, you definitely should, because it was a fascinating read. But the thing that we find out, again, Randy has got a big filing coming, and guess who abandoned his client right before that thing dropped? That's right. So, that's not good, right? It's not good when you have pro se clients that are going to be going and trying to defend themselves when their lawyer did not turn over discovery items. And I'm sure it's probably quite extensive that he didn't turn over. Instead, they're filing motions, again, that he prepared for sure. But it's so funny. Like I said, so let's look at his big master stroke here. And knowing, again, the judge shot this down, and he shot it down quickly. I love it. I love it. I mean, like I said, they try to hype it. By the way, the kicker with this, too, is it was hyped on social media like that, right? So you have to ask yourself this. What are the claims, first of all, that they keep making? Why is Jeremy Hale supposedly doing all of this? They keep saying it's because, wait for it here, YouTube content. You remember we've heard that a million times. He's doing this because he needs the YouTube content. Meanwhile, they try to hype beast this thing while having to admit that it was struck down and they would have to refile it again. I think that's full. I think that's hilarious. I do. I find that very amusing. I find it very, very amusing, you know, through the whole stuff there. Give me 1 minute here. All right. So check this out. Let's read this together. So the undersigned hereby responds to court order document 128. Whoops, that's the wrong one. My bad. I was like, wait a minute, that's not right. It's like, wait a minute, that's not it. All right, wait a minute. I think I remember that. Here, let's go again. All right, let's reset. I started reading 130. I was like, wait a minute, it didn't start this way, did it? Oh, that would have been funny. That would actually have been pretty funny. So here's it starts out, you can tell, look, John Cook, underneath, what does that say right there, by the way? How is he filing this, you might ask? Oh, he's filing it pro se. Not smart. Not smart at all. But of course, they may end up pro se through a lot of this. If they end up pro se through this, by the way, that is going to be pretty amazing. You know, pro se trials don't usually go that well. And you have to remember something, too. It doesn't matter what kind of screwball attempt that they have behind the scenes where somebody's trying to write their documents for them, by the way. That doesn't matter at all. Because ultimately, what's going to happen if you continue to go forward, you can't get this thing kicked out. What's the way that this plays? Oh, they end up in trial. Now, what are they going to do then? Because it doesn't matter who you have manipulating things behind the scenes then. What matters is Oh no, I'm doing it for YouTube content. You're right, Just Day. I am definitely doing that for YouTube content. You are right. It's crazy, isn't it? By the way, if you enjoy this, man, I am feeling the birthday push. Man, right around the corner. Next Thursday is my birthday. I can smell it. I smell it. The kids, they've been talking about what to do. I keep telling like people are like, oh man, what do you want to do that day? You want to have a party? I'm like, the last thing I want to do is have a party. You know? Are any of you like that, by the way? I wonder, are any of you like that? You're like, the last thing I want is my house filled with people coming over, eating, again, I love them. I get family and everything. I love them to death. But the last thing I want to do is deal with a crowd of people, have them coming over. I have to host them. I have to do all of that stuff. Yeah, see, most of you are like that. What I want to do is I want to sit down. I want to live stream. I want to goof off. The kids, if they want to get me something, they can make me something. That'll be lovely that way. Something that I can set aside, that I can look at, and I can appreciate for that day. But if people want to come by and give me gifts, that's okay too. Typically, that's not it though. Typically, what happens with birthday is I have to go out on my birthday and buy a cake or something that I don't really want. I have to feed it to people. They bring me over things that I don't really want, unless they bring cash or something. I'm okay with that. As I get older, when people are like, what do you want for your birthday? Cash, gift card. Gift cards work. Cash, that works. I'm sure some of you are like that too. But, I've been asked that a few times. What do you want for your birthday? Oh, by the way, too. So for parents out there, for mothers, happy Mother's Day. I know it is, it's rolling up tomorrow. So happy Mother's Day to all of you out there. Also, again, some people get offended by this, but I'm going to say this anyway. If you're a parent that is raising your kids solo, it is your day too. So love to you as well on that day. Parents, period. I like that there's a day specifically for mothers and specifically for fathers. I think there should, I think you commemorate both parents on each though. So all you parents out there, happy Mother's Day. First of all, mothers, man. Mothers, you can't overstate the impact that a mother can have on their kid. Obviously, your mother births you, first of all, but beyond that, if there's a positive relationship, that's for a lifetime. So happy Mother's Day there. I may stream for a hot minute tomorrow just because I know some of you, there are things that go on. Maybe you all are dealing with issues on that. So I may stream for a minute tomorrow. I don't know. It won't be a long stream. It'll be earlier than the Hale stream, but still I may do that because I like people to have a place to go, just in case. But love to all of you. I do want to say that. I know some of you are in different time zones and you definitely you need to live there. That's funny. The Floofy. I love the Floofy cat, by the way. The Floofy insists their servant donate the tuna monies to support Tug, Bug, and Lug for the chai teas, the candy, and the craft ones. Is candy like catnip for yes. Oh, she told me so. This is funny, and then we'll cover this document. She had been over at her grandmother's right yesterday, and she came in and she was like, Dad. She was very serious too. She was like, Dad, I've got bad news and I've got good news. And I was like, oh, you do? She was like, oh, yes. Very serious. I was like, so what's the bad news? She was like, the bad news is that the candy shop, it's closing. She was so upset. It's closing at the end of the month. I was like, it's closing. Now, I already knew about this, but she's like, it's closing at the end of the month. And I was like, it's closing at the end. And she was like, yes, Dad. We must go back over there before it's gone. And it was like, oh, no, we're going to have another. She's like, yes, Dad. She looks so sad. She's very cute. At her age, she's very cute. She got the little tear in her eyes, like she's gonna cry. I mean, oh, she's so good at this stuff. And I was like, well, what's the good news? She was like, well, the good news is, Dad, they're going to be able to still keep it open in another place across the street. I was like, so it's just moving? She was like, no. So the owners, they have 2 shops essentially, and they can't get enough workers to keep both shops running at the same time. So they're combining it. I was like, I thought they were closing it down. But it's going to be closed for a couple of months while they move it all around. So she's like, basically, I've got to get the hookup this month before it's gone, for 8 to 12 weeks, because it will be closed for a few weeks. But man, I thought that was gone forever. When I first heard about it, I was like, no, I'd heard from it. I'd heard about it from my mom when they'd gone over. They spent the night at her house, and she told me. And I'm glad she did, because the way the little one made it sound, it was like, we've got to go over there now because it's gone forever. Man, she's funny with that stuff. But anyway, here we go. Let's look at this document. Let's see the master stroke. This was their long game. This was what BBB had planned. And again, when we're looking over it, just remember. Okay. And what day was this filed, by the way? So this was filed the 9th. I'm curious. Where's their? Did they have an attempt to confer? Let me check something on this other one. I see where they emailed it. Okay. Did you try to confer at all, John? You just dropped it in the email and then filed it right afterwards? Typically there's some type of attempt to confer at least. Let me see if there's any kind of certificate on this. Let me make sure. I'm just looking at something real quick. No, he just put on the let me see if the other one has it. I'm curious. I'm looking at both of them here. I'm going to take that off the screen for 1 second because I'm going to scroll, and I don't want you to have to watch me scroll. That's funny. This is why they had to re-upload it twice, because this is what happens when you're pro se, by the way. So on the first attempt, you'll notice here, they put in that they attempted to email Randy Shockett. I'd be curious if that happened, by the way. I would actually be curious if they did or didn't do that, because they attempted to email their certification that they know that on no date. You notice here, oopsie, there's not a date attached to that final confer. So, the certification that they emailed it, not that they tried to confer or anything, just that they emailed it there. But the second one, when they uploaded, they actually did put a date. Now, these are the kind of things that piss this judge. You got to remember, first of all, this judge is not happy about the number of filings. He's tired of seeing filings. He doesn't want to see anything on it. If something comes up on the docket, he's got to look at it. Even if it's just screw up, something that you've amended and forgot to upload correctly, and you upload it again, he's going to see it. What does he see on the docket right here? He sees 2 filings of the same file, because you're too dumb to freaking upload it correctly the first time. And again, this was addressed by the judge, by the way. When he strikes it, you'll notice he struck both of them. So he didn't, it didn't just lay out there and languish. He did address both of these too. You can see 137 and 138, they were stricken because there is no authority. It's like they never existed. They have been kicked off into limbo. So just to make that clear too. But he's seen them attempt to file what it reads on the docket as are 2 attempts at summary judgment. And he does not like that. Again, you idiots out there. I would think you would listen to the judge on this. Here's a little freebie for you. The judge said he doesn't want summary judgment filings. He said that. Go back and read the filing you paid for, where he's talking to Randy. I know you people are idiots and you can't listen to the judge, but he said, don't file this shit. Also, the stuff that Bruce told you about discovery being over and stuff, that's wrong. He's absolutely wrong. You idiots, not turning over anything was not a smart play. So here we have the footnote. Again, memorandum and, well, give me 1 second. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Let me pull up the summary judgment. Give me 1 minute. So our memorandum in support of summary judgment. Now footnote 1 here. I had to make sure it was broadcasting correctly. Let's blow it up there. Again, this was prepared by my former counsel prior to being discharged. The admission, you get to bring Bruce back up. I'm sure, by the way, that the judge is like, yeah, I want to read filings by the guy you fired. Isn't that fascinating? He's still filing stuff he's not supposed to. Remember, by the way, if you're hit with sanctions, if you have any problem, it's not going to be Bruce that gets hit with the next round of sanctions. It's going to be you specifically, John. Lynette, it's going to be you guys. Just remember that, all right? So the standard for Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 56, motion for summary judgment. When the non-moving party has the burden of proof at trial, to prevail at summary judgment, the moving party has the burden of either negating an essential element of the non-moving party's case or showing, you can already see where this is going to go, showing that there is no evidence to prove the fact necessary to the non-moving party's case. If the moving party shows an absence of evidence of a material fact, the burden of production shifts to the non-moving party, who must identify evidence in the record and present additional evidence sufficient to withstand a directed verdict motion at trial based on the alleged evidentiary deficiency. Okay. Now, the moving party, again, are we going to just do like armies of case quotes before we get to anything? The moving party bears the initial responsibility of informing the court of the basis of its motion, identifying these portions of the pleading, depositions, answer to interrogatories, admissions on file, together with the affidavits, if any, which it believes demonstrate the absence of genuine issue of fact. Okay. When a non-moving party has the burden of proof at trial, the moving party is not required to support its motion with affidavits or other similar material negating the opponent's claim in order to discharge the initial responsibility. Instead, the moving party may simply show, that is, point out to the district court there's an absence of evidence to support the non-moving party's case. Yeah, you got to remember, again, as the judge has talked about this, the judge sees it as these people said, essentially, Jury Hale says that you did this thing. The signs are at the crux of it, too. You did this, you say you didn't. Let a jury decide. That's essentially what the judge noted. So when you're talking about, you don't have this or you don't have that, you got to remember, again, there's quite a bit. It's really a bad thing, by the way, when Preston, for example, said John Cook wrote the signs. Remember, she says she didn't. She said John did. That's actually recorded. So under John's name, where you're saying, oh, John didn't have anything to do with any of this defamation, any of the contacts and more. John also, fascinatingly enough, one of the things that Shara brought up, you remember all of those exchanges that Shara had with John Cook? One of them was John Cook creating false accounts so he could do damage with claims. he talks about how he's going to do that. So to say that John Cook never did anything is an absurdity. You have Lynette Preston saying that he did. Also, remember the whole statement about cancer in the, I'm going to say, backside? You remember Lynette Preston going and talking to Shara and saying, Shara's proof, by the way, is pretty damning in some points. You have a conversation with Lynette Preston saying that John Cook's post about George, about cancer in the backside, it was so terrible that she had to make him take it down. It was that awful. So you have these admissions to doing these things that, again, they're nasty. They're awful, and they know that they reflect poorly, to the point that Lynette has thrown him under the bus twice just off of these major claims. And she's thrown him under the bus for other, my God. The amount of, I was going in, looking up, I look up red flags, because they keep saying that part of their litigation is going to be on behalf of a child. They're going to come after all of us, and they're going to try to say that there was no reason for any discussion to come up. And yet Lynette Preston has brought up repeatedly the child. She has brought up the fact that John Cook, her words, I'm not saying this, her words, that he's an abuser, that he's a monster, that the child even said something about him to her, and she didn't report it because she was afraid that it was so bad. She was afraid that she would lose her kid. So, what craziness, man. Anyway, thirdly, the moving party may support its motion for summary judgment with affirmative evidence demonstrating that the non-moving party will be unable to prove its case at trial. If the moving party shows the absence of a triable issue of fact by either method, the burden of summary judgment shifts to the non-moving party, who must show that genuine issue remains at trial. Yeah, it's going to be, like I said, they want to play the whole, there's no evidence. There's nothing here at all. There's no proof. There's never been a public post calling Jeremy Hales these terrible things, saying that he's a predator and more. And yet, again, John Cook made that same, the stuff that he's yelling about Travis, for example, about how he's trying to lure in children. He just did that to Travis, right? So you see how easy these kind of claims come to these folks. And he did that in a stream that was recorded where they were talking about their big garbage fork fence. I know because I went and downloaded it myself because I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Are they really saying this now? There's actually two of them, as a matter of fact. There's one that is at, I'm not sure what that thing's called, if it's a flea market or what it's at. But there's a video where they make some pretty nasty statements during an interview there. But then they have this other one where they just casually make those kind of statements too. And again, you can see how Cook, he gets, the reason I don't pull that up right here, you know how these people are false flagging stuff. I have no doubt whatsoever, if they false flag me, that I would definitely prevail. I just don't want to mess with it for a few days while I have to straighten it out. And honestly, I don't want to have to go to the point where I have to actually threaten somebody with lawsuit, because these people, like what they did with Shara, for example, man, Shara, she should sue them. And actually, I don't know if, I know she doesn't want to sue, but she should definitely realize that they're not going to stop. And again, I'm not saying that she should get involved in litigation. Litigation's rough. You see how much money it costs. It's rough. Like what Jeremy's dealing with is it's big time. Nobody wants to do this without a reason. But again, if you doubt that they make these kind of statements and they make them, I mean, again, without really, it's second nature almost. Again, refer to the Travis video here. I'm going to pull that up to a specific place. Like I said, if you wonder how easy they make statements that are actionable, calling people PDF files and stuff is one of the worst things you can do. This whole area, by the way, if you've not watched this video, you should. The mayor is live at TubeTown, baby. This one and the last one we talked. I interviewed Travis yesterday. By the way, it was a good interview. I've been wanting to have him on for a while, by himself, just he and I kicking it. Because the last time we talked, we had Dockery. We were discussing. We've never actually been able to, have a discussion, either he and I or he, Megan and I, whichever. We've never had him by ourselves, and I've been wanting that. But you can hear. Let me back that up just a little bit, just to show. When you go into this, I'm going to give you a few timestamps that you should check out through. All right. And by the way, I'm going to put out some initials. Somebody timestamp this stuff. PH. You know who I'm talking about by. Thank you. I don't know if you want your name out there or not, but thank you. It did some good timestamps with stuff. But even at 104.21, you can hear John. Actually, let's just look at some of this stuff real quick. We're going to listen to this part just to add it to what we're talking about here, where they are definitely willing to make statements about attracting a child. They make it twice, in fact. Let's play both of them. Okay. There's one at 105.24. So that'll be, or rather 125.24. 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 24 seconds. You'll hear John Cook say, quote, "Hardly ignore that he is trying to attract a child." So they'll say this twice. It'll end within a minute. So here this rolls up. How does he beeps that thing, right? And when he does, every time they yell it, I'll give a toot back. You can hear it clear as day, though. He says, "Harley, ignore that. He's trying to attract a child." So again, you see what kind of accusations come up. If you couldn't notice that, then as it rolls forward, it goes about 10 seconds. Listen here.
Oh,
at 36 boy. After. See, again, so he says that is what they do. They try to attract children. So you see how easy this comes to him. So the reason I say that, by the way, is to say that them claiming that they don't make statements like that is ridiculous anyway. They've made them about everybody. It's almost second nature to them to falsely accuse people of some of the most horrendous shit out there. They are using a kid as a bludgeon. It's typical for them. You know what's funny is how many people defended these actions too. Oh my God, yeah, so many people are upset because a child was yelling a word. No, it's pretty messed up that you involve a child in a back and forth trying to get the one up on some neighbors. That's pretty weird. But all of that, like I said, that shows evidence. When they say there's no evidence, there's plenty. Just like that there's an interview making the same kind of claims about Jeremy Hales. And it's recent, so it's crazy. There have been posts, which they claim don't exist. Their interview, I mean, yeah, it's so easy to prove. If the non-moving party fails to make a sufficient showing on the essential elements of a case, and remember, the essential element, by the way, defamation. We have defamation claim. So I get the feeling the judge is like, hey, I'm not deciding this. A jury's going to decide it. Just remember that. So with respect to which is to show the burden of proof. So the elements of defamation. Here's the elements. And these these elements you do need to remember, okay? You have to have, number one, publication, okay? You have to have falsity. The statement was made with knowledge or reckless disregard as to the falsity on a matter concerning a public official. Because remember, we're talking about, that's why we talk about whether or not someone is a public figure. That's why they want to argue that Lynette Preston, when she is discussed, they want to bring up whether or not she is a public figure, a celebrity, as they like to say. And remember, Bruce Manskin, he has said that she is a celebrity. He did screw up and actually put that out into public. Such a damaging person. You got to remember it. This attaches to everything that's going on, not just to Jeremy Hale's claims, but to what they say are counterclaims. And remember, their argument is always, he's a public figure. She's not, even though she ran for office multiple times in a place where he lives. And they screwed up. Again, Bruce, I just like to put this out there. I love to do that. You're a celebrity. Your lawyer should not make statements like this ever, anywhere, that anyone could see it. You shouldn't make that. You're a celebrity, but we don't want to embrace that. Why wouldn't you want to embrace that? Oh, yeah, because it blows this fucking case. It blows the whole idea that she is a private person. So I put that on the screen just to note that when we're talking about defamation. Does it apply to this document? No, but. So, made to that, we have number 4, which would be actual damages. And again, remember, on the falsity thing, it's either knowledge that it's false or not caring. Essentially, they don't care that it happened there. Actual damages, and the statement must be defamatory. Okay. Now, allegations underlying defamation claims. Now, count 2 of the complaint claims that the defendant Cook defamed the plaintiff. The factual support for the claim in the complaint is a single alleged statement. What's funny, like I said, he's also alleged to have participated with the signs. Let's not forget that. But defendant Cook publicly stated falsely on Facebook that Hale's fiance had the oral and has the photographs to prove it. The statement is quoted as a footnote as, "Jeremy, would you like to post a picture of my rooster in George's mouth?" You can't, that's such a gross image in my brain. Ugh. It's not defamatory of the plaintiff Hales for the defendant Cook to write on Facebook what was just said. Assuming this was a false statement of fact, George appearing in a photograph performing that of the defendant, assuming this was a false statement. What a dumb way to write that. You know, they do that on purpose, by the way. They very much do. Well, let's just assume, not assume that it was written, but let's assume that it's a false statement. In the wording, gross, man. They do that. You know, they do a lot of stuff, by the way, hoping that they can cause reaction from Jeremy. They absolutely do. They file, they word certain things specific ways because they hope that he'll respond. But if anyone would be defamed, it would be George, not the plaintiff. It's fascinating to admit that George, by the way, could have been defamed by them too. Are you trying to throw? So this amazed me when I saw it. I was like, are you trying to get George to sue John Cook? Is that what you're saying here? Well, actually, if you want to be technical, I mean, can you feel that one right there? You know, can you feel it? I mean, it's amazing for him to have said this. He's like, well, you know what? Actually, you know, George should be suing. It's amazing, man. Oh, my God. He actually said something terrible about George. You don't try to talk yourself into litigation. That's one of the dumbest things you can see there. But actually, so if anyone would be defamed, it would be George, not the plaintiff. It is simply not a statement about the plaintiff. Nor can the plaintiff show how such a statement caused him damage. Let's forget about the other portions of it. Now, the plaintiff did not seek to amend the complaint to add statements produced in the response to the first summary judgment motion and or the present motion. In response to the first motion for summary judgment, the plaintiff produced numerous social media posts and comments, as well as private chat messages supplied by unknown third parties. We know many of those parties, by the way. Many of those statements. You have to know. Again, I love it every time. He's like, well, actually, we don't know who turned that in. We know it was Shara. Many of those things that you guys said were to Shara, amongst other folks. But Shara, you said a lot of things you probably shouldn't have to her. Let's just say you admitted to things too. You know what's the stupidest thing I've seen in this case? If I'm just being honest, the dumbest thing was Bruce verifying that the messages to Shara were real. You know those messages that they also say, we're going to sue on behalf of a kid because X, Y, and Z. Well, Bruce blew that thing out of the water by verifying as her lawyer that those messages, they were real. I mean, why would you do that? Oh, my God. But anyway, so in response, and indiscriminately deemed them all defamatory. The same documents were also produced for extortion and tortious interference. Those pertaining to Mr. Cook are contained in docs 2417 and 2426. It is expected that the plaintiff will interpose yet more new alleged defamatory statements in an attempt to overcome the present summary judgment motion. Actually, there is no present summary judgment motion. I hate to tell you, it got denied. Actually, got shot down, but it would have gotten denied anyway. Again, when the judge is out there saying, I don't want you filing this crap, I don't think you have to be a mind reader to say that beyond this being for social media, if you want to say that this stuff is because of social media, then okay. I could see you trying to bring this stuff up and pretending it has some kind of impact. But if you want to pretend that the judge is going to agree with it, no, the judge has already said that. The 11th Circuit recently upheld summary judgment when the plaintiff sought to rely on defamatory statements in opposition to summary judgment that had not been alleged in the complaint. He's already tried this, by the way. He already tried an argument just like this. Remember that one? It didn't fly very well. Again, the defamation claim, I think, is going to roll forward. The district court correctly refused to consider defamatory statements Grayson alleged in an opposition to summary judgment that he had omitted from and never sought to add by amendment to his second amended complaint. And also, the district court ruled, and we agree, that Dukes offered her alternative argument too late in an improper attempt to amend a complaint. A plaintiff may not amend a complaint through argument in brief opposing summary judgment. Now, again, they're arguing something that hasn't happened, which is very strange. Remember, we are still in discovery. They didn't turn over a lot. In fact, we know that an entire board was deleted. They deleted an entire section where they have screenshots from it, but the other stuff that was there, whatever could have been there, the other evidence plus that, they deleted the proof. They did that too after they were told to keep that up. So destroying evidence is not smart. That's something anybody would tell you, that if you've been told, hey, you need to preserve that, and you don't, that's not good. It's very dumb to do. Although the plaintiff raised them for the first time in opposition to summary judgment, even if they are considered, they are nothing more than a hodgepodge of opinion, hyperbole, and insults, none of which are actionable as defamation. Now, if it is, again, there's a line in that. But I agree, not with this, but I agree with the statement in it that if it were just insults, like for example, calling them the walruses, calling them the fats, saying they're ugly, talking about, appearance, whatever, that doesn't matter. Parody, you can cover too. You can go out and you can make fun of people. Like, for example, Stupid Dave wants to put together a book that has a germ, and we know who that's talking about. He wants to pretend that that's not supposed to be Jeremy Hales. He should just say that it's parody. But remember, when he wants to dish that out, and Jeremy actually goes out and markets something beyond 7 people talking about him, when he decides, hey, I'm going to market a Stupid Dave figure. It's going to be the superhero that wishes he could fly, but I don't know. He's he looks like a big butterball ham, and he can't. If he put a butterball turkey in a Superman cape, and he marketed that, and he said that's parody. I'm laughing at it. I can't complain about it. It would be funny if they tried to. God, could you imagine if Stupid Dave, he was like, I'm suing because you infringed upon me. It's like, wait a minute. But if it were something like that, okay. The difference is, though, when you're going out and you're saying this person is a child predator, that's not good. That's not good at all. When you're trying to make statements of fact, that's where you get into problems. So when they start to separate these, when they start to make that argument, that's where they run into real problems. Opinion. I can say, hey, when I talk about these idiots out there being scammers, I very much believe they're scammers. Again, they could publicly prove that they're not, but they won't. So they've raised that money and they've talked about, oh, we're going to sue. Well, fuck you. Then do it, because you'd have to prove this money that you brought in, that you haven't mismanaged. And you already, you raised money without any kind of a cutoff. Some funds definitely did not go to their stated purpose, for sure. So you could see where you could say that's opinion. And you could base that on, well, I base my opinion on X, Y, and Z. Okay. But for them just to create a statement, like again, signs calling somebody an ARPist, calling them a PDF file, that's not a statement of opinion. It's not just an insult or hyperbole. It's the worst things you can call somebody. So if they were, the courts would be inundated by people like the plaintiff every time their feelings were hurt, and they were subjected to a nasty comment on social media, regardless of whether they intend to convey false factual information. See, they know false factual information. A person is an offender, a PDF file. Now, is that somebody trying to convey false factual information? I would say yes, 100%. The courts agree. So, as a general rule, a plaintiff cannot base a defamation claim on opinion, non-literal assertion of fact, or rhetorical hyperbole. And here's another case on that too. Noting that true statements that are not readily capable of being... One second. Hey, who is that? Yo. Hey, open the door. Hey, who is that? Is that you, little one?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, come here. What you doing?
I think Mom's asleep because the light's off.
Yeah, come here. Give me a hug.
If the light's
Hey,
off...
will you tell me? Hey, wait, come here. So, I was telling people that there was some bad news that you had.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It was so terrible, too. Do you want to come here and tell us about the terrible news?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to climb up on my lap. And okay, I'll let you sit here for a minute. All right, come here.
No,
All right, tell us about the terrible news.
the bad news is that the candy shop is going where it was back where it was.
Oh, no. So the candy shop's going to be gone from its place?
Yeah, back
Oh,
where
my
they found
goodness.
it.
Oh, no. So what was the good news?
The good news is I got free Coke.
So her good news, by the way, is, well, while she was over there getting candy, they gave you a Coke.
A free.
A free Coke at that? Oh, my goodness. Was it one of those glass bottle ones, too? No?
It
Are
was
they
the
still...
It was the one, the circle ones.
Oh, man. Was it... Oh, I can't believe they gave you a Coke.
For free.
For nothing. I was like, you weren't supposed to be getting Coke.
Money.
Look at that. Yeah, that's money for you, too.
Money.
Look at that. Misbehaving. Can you say thank you, misbehaving?
Thank you, Mr. Hazen.
Look at those hearts. Aren't they pretty?
And I saw another one.
Yeah, there's another one there, too. Can you say
Yeah,
thank you,
but
Sister
there's
Sal?
one at the top.
I know. Well, we'll roll. Can you say thank you, Sister Sal?
Thank you, Mr. Will.
Yeah, it says for you. So that one's for you, too.
And another one. And another one for
Yeah.
me. So much for me, because
I know. That's
they
crazy.
like me.
Well, they do like you. I know they like you.
That also means heart.
They give you hearts, too. I know. But
That's the business.
they are the best.
That's
aren't they?
candy. Candy.
Yeah, they got candy icons. Anyway, so did you come down here to check on me?
Nah, I haven't seen you in a while. I think Mom's asleep because her lights off. When the lights off,
Mhm.
sometimes when the lights are off.
Mhm. Oh, man, what? There's no one. Can you
The
say thank you?
money. Thank you.
That's misbehaving. Can you say thank you again?
Thank you, Mr. Haven.
Said you're welcome. He said where you said thank you before. That was very nice.
That one.
Oh my goodness. Can you say thank you, Andre?
Thank you, Andre.
Said candy fun for the kids. That's for you. Oh my gosh. That's Canada is watching. Can you say thank you, Canada is watching?
Thank you, Canada, and more candy emojis.
Mine says for your sweet child. Look at it. It has a heart. You see candies rolling in. Oh, here's Rose. Can you say thank you, Rose?
Thank you, Rose.
It says for your candy fun. My goodness. People are stalking you up. Can you say thank you to Rhonda?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's for you too. Man. Oh my goodness.
Another one.
Oh my goodness. That's from Sister Sal. Can you say thank you again to Sister Sal?
Thank you, Sister Sal.
And then another one for you, and you're welcome. Man. Are you gonna go over there and get you some candy before they move the store back? Yeah. See, the thing about it is, like, the way the candy store is set up, though, it is a store that is almost all candy, right? It's cool. It is. It looks like an old timey candy store. I haven't seen one like that.
And more money.
No. Misbehaving. Can you say thank you again to Misbehaving? That's awesome.
Thank you, Mr. Haven.
The chat's making it rain. I know, man.
I got so much money for 2 candy shops. When that's they'll go be there soon. And more money.
Oh my goodness. That is Arizona Hawk. Can you say thank you to Arizona Hawk?
Thank you, Arizona Hawk.
Yeah, they sent you $5 there too. Man.
Another one.
Oh goodness.
Another one.
There's Heather. Can you say thank you to Heather?
Thank you, Heather.
Say get another Coke. That one you can afford, huh? And the Floofy Cat.
Yeah, Fluffy Cat.
That's
Thank you,
cute.
Fluffy Cat.
It says for the catnip funds. Oh, that's pretty good. Look at this crazy. Bonnie. Can you say thank you, Bonnie?
Thank you, Bonnie.
I'm making it rain for Sissy too. Sissy getting some dollars too. That's nice.
I'll tell her when Mom goes to work.
So there's Buck. Can you say thanks, Buck?
Thank you, Buck.
Says for your lemonade candy stand. Man, are you gonna open up a lemonade stand too? Lordy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Oh, next time when I go out, we will walk in. I'll go make a yes, but another money.
Yeah, there's Dr. Reed. Can you say thank you, Dr. Reed?
Thank you, Dr. Week. It reminds me of Pet Cemetery was Doctor.
What are we talking about? A pet cemetery? What?
There's a doctor
movie?
in a Pet cemetery. You know what I mean?
Well, if any movie or song you thought of, you immediately thought pets. Why? Why that?
Because I have a pet, and
Oh my
it's
goodness!
a cat, the little cat, the cat one.
Yeah, it's probably not the most positive version of a doctor or a cat. So, said Dr. Reed said, "Here's some more for your candy fun too." Oh man, there's one for Ron. Can you say thank you, Ron?
Thank you.
Said, oh, that's for broccoli fun. Just kidding, it's a candy fun.
Some people do.
That's funny. Can you say thank you to Emma?
Thank you, Emma.
Yeah.
I get a bunch of candy money.
That's candy money. Whoa, man.
And
Wanda, can you say thank you, Wanda?
thank you, Wanda.
That's a candy fun shot too. Man, you are getting hooked up. I swear. I guess you're gonna have your candy outing after all, right?
Yeah, and candy pictures.
I know,
too.
and you love the pictures on there too.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to go upstairs in a minute though, okay?
That's what we
Because
do.
I do. I know it's good to see you though. They haven't gotten to see you in a few days, you know. Because all last week you were asleep at night. Did you know that? Yeah. Did you tell them you're about to lose another tooth?
Yes, I go lose another tooth. Look.
Oh yeah, see another there. That's Death's Angel. Can you say thank you, Death's Angel?
Thank you, Death Angel.
So have a great time at the candy shop.
Oh,
Oh man, that's a $20. Whoa. Mop you. Can you say thank you?
thank you.
So for being as a good protector and keeping your eye on your dad for us. That's right. You check in on dad all the time, don't you?
Yeah.
They said that I'm a troublemaker and I need somebody watching me. Is that true? Am I
Yeah.
a trouble? Am I always joking with you? Am I
Hey,
cutting up?
I saw free buddies.
I see that too. There's Joan. Can you say thanks, Joan?
Thank you, Joan.
That's
That's
Candy
a boy
money.
name.
No, that's a girl name.
Oh, some of these people.
Have you ever met a Joan at all? I don't think you know any Jones, do you?
I only know Gigi.
Yeah, well, that's not her actual name.
What's
Green
that?
Veggie Beast. Can you say thank you, Green Veggie Beast?
Thank you.
That's for your dentist fund. That's right. Well, you're getting your adult teeth. You've been taking care of them. You've been brushing and everything, haven't you? Look, here's S Shine. Can you say thank you?
Thank you.
That's for your candy fund. Wait, here's Jack's mom. You say thank you, Jack's mom.
Thank you, Jack's mom.
Hey, wait, can you sing happy birthday today? That's good, actually. Can you sing happy birthday?
Happy birthday
To
you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy
Happy
birthday to everybody,
to-
right?
Yes.
And happy birthday to you.
You know what's going to be my mom and dad's birthday?
Yeah, can you say happy Mother's Day too? To people?
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, tomorrow's Mother's Day. Some people it's already Mother's Day. There's best friends. Can you say thank you, best friends?
Thank you, best friends.
Oh man, that's a great name, isn't it? Best friends for life.
Yeah.
There's just one person's opinion. Can you say thank you to them too?
Yeah. I saw mom who clicked on me.
Yeah. So he said there's some candy. Yeah, something for the candy shop too. Man, you were getting hooked up at the candy shop. Here, I'll fix that for you. But yeah, you know, tomorrow is Mama's Day. So all the mamas out there, that's pretty nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
They have their own day. They get their Mama's Day fun. You know?
I keep saying sorry. Cause
You're welcome, Buck. Yeah,
look,
Buck said and
Buck.
$5 and said, well, thank you for you guys coming on. Well, it is good to have you come
I
on.
saw
sometime.
mom and Hose were still awake,
Mhm,
but
yeah,
I was
yeah.
in the live stream. Maybe I woke up and then Hose, hey, it's a picture of that cock you saw.
Yeah.
My money.
My goodness. Look at that. There's the floofy cat again. The floofy cat. Can you say thank you to floofy cat?
Floofy cat.
Says
Thank
to keep your
you.
teeth clean. Keep those fangs clean. Super fang.
I brushed my teeth at Gigi's last night.
That's good.
Who reminded me.
Lori, look, Lori sent memberships. That's like a gift for everybody and some money. That's very nice. Can you say thank you to Lori?
Yes.
Oh, you're having trouble sitting on my lap. Here. Sit up here with me. Oh, goodness, you're heavy. You're getting big, kiddo.
Yeah.
Say thank you to Lori.
Thank you, Lori.
It's very nice. Oh, Mistrust Loon. Can you say
Yes.
thank you?
Thank you, Mr. Faloo.
Yeah, send some money
It's
to
trying
me,
to
yeah.
say that.
Did you have trouble saying that one? There's Wanda. Can you say thank you to Wanda for you too? Yeah,
Thank you, Wanda. It must be
she can't see you waving at her.
I know, but Lisa, I said thank you.
I know. She can't see you waving. It's just funny. She's waving to all of you. Heather says that this is the best part of life. These moments, yes, they are. They're good moments, aren't they, kiddo?
Look at that emoji.
Yeah, I see that. All right. Now I actually have a live stream I gotta finish, okay? So you're gonna go do your thing, baby?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Can I have a hug and a kiss though first?
Yes.
Mwah. Thank you. Now you be a good girl, okay? Now you remember tomorrow's a big day. Okay? So you go do your thing.
Mom.
She's funny with all that. Oh, it's George's birthday today. I didn't realize that. Well, happy birthday to George, man. I should have had her sing her one. Hey, Kathy, by the way, thank you. She may come back. If she comes back, I'll have her thank you. Everybody, thank you all. Appreciate it. She hasn't been on for a few days because she's actually been like working hard on some stuff, to be honest. In the day, she's been getting more done. You know, she hasn't just been playing. They've had more play dates, which is good. They need that. But also they've been doing more like work around the house and stuff. So they've been wearing them out a little bit, which is good. You know, they need that. All right, let's get back on track real quick. This stuff, again, you've seen these arguments, but this, like, again, the whole point in this document and bringing this stuff up is to say this was supposed to be their master stroke. There are actually 12 pages to it, so we're already over halfway done with it anyway. And then they have filings at the end of it. But again, you know how this argument goes. This is the Bruce argument, you know. So let's see. Let's pick up right here. Defamation claim may not be actionable when the alleged defamatory statement is based on non-literal assertions of fact. The First Amendment, quote, provides protection from a rhetorical hyperbole that cannot reasonably be interpreted as stating actual facts about an individual. That's the kicker, though. When you call somebody a predator or a PDF file, that there's no other interpretation. You know that that's a person stating a fact about a person. It is for the court to decide as a matter of law whether the complaint of words are actionable. And the court did definitely say that that is the worst thing you can call somebody. That's how we got to this point. So noting, again, we have another case here, quote, a statement is considered rhetorical hyperbole when the language itself negates the impression that the writer was seriously maintaining that the plaintiff committed the particular act forming the basis of the defamation. Although rhetorically hyperbolic statements, it's hard to say for a minute there, may at first blush appear to be factual, they cannot reasonably be interpreted as stating actual facts about their target. In determining whether that its alleged defamatory statement is an expression of fact or expression of rhetorical hyperbole, context is paramount. Now remember, again, the context of the signs is to place them around a community, put them out by the road sign, and to state a name on them. Now, does that sound like somebody, again, that is engaging in hyperbole? Or does that sound like a statement of fact? I mean, what do you think? Now, remember, hyperbole, by the way, that's obvious or intentional exaggeration. It's not something that you're meant to take literally. That's protected. You are allowed to utilize hyperbole. So when you're thinking about it, again, I want you to keep that in mind. Hey, by the way, Cheryl, thank you. Again, I see you said you sent 10 as well. Thank you, Cheryl. I saw that come in through Cash App. Thank you very much. The kiddo, she'll be happy. She's she's been she wanted to hit that freaking stuff up yet again. So, wait, what's that? That's fascinating. There is a clip I guess I'm going to have to listen to. There's some fascinating clips out there, by the way, where certain people admit to some crazy things. Some very crazy things. I see clips all the time from live streams where people make statements that they shouldn't. Statements that admit to some pretty awful behavior. All right, let's see. So tortious interference. The elements of tortious interference with a business relationship are the existence of a business relationship, knowledge of the relationship on part of the defendant. See, here's the problem where they run into it. Now you think about this. Okay, first of all, is there a business relationship? Okay. Is there knowledge of it by the defendants? An intentional and unjustified interference. Now you think about what 2Ls have done, for example, right? Every single thing that Jeremy does, they try to take aim at. So when you read this, I want you to think, again, we're talking about John Cook here, but I want you to think, just to paint this out for you. Think about what these people have done with everything from Olight to whatnot to condos and much more. Do they know a business relationship exists? Yes. Do they intentionally or unjustified interfere? Is there unjustified or intentional interference with the relationship, and is there damage as a result of it? That's not good for them. A protected business relationship need not be evidenced by an enforceable contract. Here, however, the alleged business relationship must afford the plaintiff existing or prospective legal or contractual rights. Now, here's a little game that they've been playing. They want to pretend that things like YouTube are not a business relationship. When I'm using this, we are like YouTube, for example. I am a YouTube partner. It is a business relationship. We are contracted with them. There are terms and conditions you sign on to. You are signing a business agreement. The same thing goes for everything from Twitter, where they pay out if you have something that pays with Facebook and more. You do have a contract with them. It's easily proven. So in Florida, a plaintiff may properly bring a cause of action alleging tortious interference with present or prospective customers, but no cause of action exists for tortious interference with a business relationships with the community at large. As a general rule, the action for tortious interference with a business relationship requires a business relationship evidenced by an actual and identifiable understanding or agreement, which in all probability would have been completed if the defendant had not interfered. Also, here's another example. The court held that the claim of tortious interference with a business relationship requires proof that the plaintiff had a business relationship with identifiable customers. Okay, you can identify customers again. And here, the court upheld dismissal of tortious interference claim on the ground that the complaint, quote, does not identify the customers who were the subject of alleged interference. As the Supreme Court said in an action of tortious interference with a business relationship generally requires a business relationship evidenced by an actual and identifiable understanding or agreement, which in all probability would have been completed if the defendant had not interfered. Okay. The cause of action cannot be established by proof that the defendant interfered with the business relationship between plaintiff and the public at large. Yet that is precisely the basis of the claim asserted in this case. The plaintiffs alleged that the conduct in question resulted in a general loss of business. But even if that is proven, it would not amount to a tortious interference with a business relationship as defined in the case above. So that's interesting. You never write things like this, by the way. Even if you're in a bad way when you're like, well, you know what? Even if you could prove that, then You don't go with that. You always maintain your innocence. You do not muddy the waters when you're talking to the judge there. If you want to muddy the waters, if you're talking about something like, say, a free speech argument, that's one thing. If you're talking about ruining or wrecking someone's business, you don't muddy those waters and say, well, even if I did it then, because you know what? That makes it sound like you are admitting, there is some issue there, but I'm going to hinge it all on this thing right there. Even if we did it, it doesn't right. You don't go with that, man. Again, you don't ever admit to the potential for wrongdoing unless it is so bad. I'm sure you've seen cases where I'm not, again, when I say this, I'm not accusing anybody of anything like this. I am just drawing a parallel. I'm sure you've seen cases that are so bad when somebody goes on trial, like say somebody's been arrested for murder, for example. In that, they start to argue, well, even if hypothetically with it, and you know, people are in a bad way when they start arguing the even ifs. You know, that's what you see there. Just don't go that route. Because the interference alleged here is not specific, the claim must fail. More recently, here's another one. The defendants all allege that the complaint is legally insufficient because it does not identify with any specificity the parties with whom this person claims interference by merely stating that they constitute a group of finite marine clients. We agree. This cause of action requires a business relationship evidenced by an actual and identifiable understanding or agreement, which in all probability would have been completed if the defendant had not interfered. Now, this person alleged merely that the finite group of marine crew clients existed without identifying any actual clients with whom he had an agreement, which in all likelihood would have been completed, but for the defendant's interference. Now, the single action rule precludes recasting defamation as tortious interference. So the only factual allegation alleged interference with customers, paragraph 31 of the complaint. Despite knowing the falsity of their statements, Preston and Cook used their defamatory statements to persuade Hale's customers to stop supporting Hale's. There are no further facts alleged as to how the defendants persuaded customers to stop supporting Hale's. Well, we'll see how after discovery how that frames up, won't we? What type of support was impacted? What specific customers stopped supporting? Or what revenue was lost? Again, that's where we're going to get into our specialty. You know, we will have experts. Experts are where your claims come in. Those are always fascinating, by the way, seeing how people load up. These arguments, a lot of this stuff has already failed, by the way. We've seen him try to cast these die before. The live depot, December 19th, 2024, in front of the court, the plaintiff admitted that the phrase used their defamatory statements to persuade customers to stop supporting Hales was a contrived phrase devoid of any meaning beyond making the alleged defamatory statements themselves. So here, this is what they're going to gamble on. Look at this. Question. The complaint says, despite knowing the falsity, again, did I read that accurately? Yes. The question is, apart from the statements themselves, what did they do? You're describing, quote, using the defamatory statements to persuade customers to stop supporting. Please rephrase. Okay. Well, other than this statement itself, what else did they do? The statement of Jeremy Hill's "arped my daughter" is more than enough to persuade customers not to support me. Nothing else needs to be said or done. There are no facts alleged as to any specific business lost by a plaintiff, any specified customers. Can you imagine putting this in, by the way? I would have found, I would never attach that statement to my clients in a defense. I would never put that into a document. This is Bruce filing, where he could have chosen any statement by Jeremy Hales, but in this statement, it reminds the court that one of those signs stated that Jeremy Hale's ARPed child. Now, one of the reasons they do that, by the way, is because you can carry, so they can get away with this in a courtroom, and it's pretty nasty. If you're like, hey man, are there any controls over that? No, not really. They can get away with a lot of pretty nasty statements. It's further defamation, but it won't be labeled as such. There can be all kinds of nasty stuff. That's why in divorces and other, you get all kinds of nasty allegations. Those are even worse because there is no cause that you can really take up for that. But you see some pretty nasty stuff in filings. So there are no facts alleged to any specific business lost plaintiff, specific customers. The defendant allegedly persuaded to stop supporting Hales, how that led to financial loss, general allegations of lost business or revenue streams is insufficient. The complaint does not allege, quote, an actual and identifiable understanding or agreement, which in all probability would have been completed if the defendants had not interfered. Plaintiff 31, or paragraph 31 of the complaint shows that tortious interference claims are nothing more than a recasting of defamation. It's funny because they're trying to, what's funny is they're trying to reuse an argument that Randy utilized. That's the hilarious part. They are trying so hard. They're trying to ride his coattails again. The single action rule precludes the recasting of defamation as additional distinct cast of actions in tort if all the claims arise from a same defamatory publication. The rule is designed to prevent plaintiffs from circumventing a valid defense, defamation, by recasting essentially the same facts into several causes. Remember the whole single publication, single action rule? You remember when Randy brought that up? Yeah, they're trying to utilize that too. If they were better at stuff, maybe. Unfortunately for them, again, Bruce, by the way, here's a question, BBB. Are you still trying to make a deal with them so you get paid on the back end? Because that wouldn't be enforceable. If they've been kicked off the case, if he's off the case but helping behind the scenes, with him getting canned, I hope he realizes too, they don't have to pay him out. He may be an asshole about it, but, on the idea, again, in the hypothetical, I'm sure they shot where, we're going to get a big payday. I'm sure do you guys, well, I'm not going to say I'm sure. I wonder, do you guys still have an agreement? Because agreement would be it would be very difficult to enforce with you being off the case. Oh, you're writing things behind the scenes? Well. So I wonder how, because Bruce is not going to do anything out of the kindness of his heart. We found that out because he tried to frame that. He tried to say, oh man, I'm doing all of this work pro bono. No, you didn't. You didn't do that. You thought you were going to get a fat stack payday and you walked the fuck away when you got in trouble, buddy. So let's not pretend that. Do I wonder again? And these people really think that if they have the chance, like if there were some hypothetical payout, that they would slice him off a piece of that pie. I mean, really. So the state of Florida provides for a single publication, single action rule, which means a single publication may give rise to a single cause of action. The rule prohibits multiple actions arising from the same alleged wrong. Here, the plaintiffs may not proceed on multiple claims for the same challenged defamatory action. They claim for defamation cannot be recast into additional separate counts of libel, slander, etc., etc. So, in here for report and recommendation adoption. By the way, it's fascinating that you've been trying to note things better. You remember how Bruce threw the fit when Randy said you just made up sources out of nothing? And he was like, actually, this is the way I copy pasted it. Well, you notice since then, he's been trying to make it very clear where things come from. Isn't that interesting? So there's no evidence of interference with whatnot. December 19th, live depot. The plaintiff identified one contract. Again, what you don't seem to get is YouTube. How the fuck do you think we get paid through YouTube? Do you think there's not a contract there? Do you think that we don't sign something that works as an enforceable, valid contract? I mean, it's so strange. They want to focus on this one thing, whatnot, but they want to pretend like YouTube and other stuff. Somehow, in some way, they think that the agreement that you have is not some kind of contract. For the life of me, I cannot understand where they're going out. If I have a business relationship with a play, like if I go out, I hype their product, they pay me money, that is a business contract. We have one where any agreement where we have that going back and forth. And if you drop your ass in and you interfere with it, you break it up, like Olight, for example, that if I'm getting paid where I hype, get them business, and they drop it because of something you do, you don't think that was a business relationship? You don't think we had a contract? It's so bizarre. It's like they want to, it's like we're playing this weird game of pretend where only a certain type of contract will prevail. And that's not the case. It's bizarre to me. Anyway, there's no evidence of interference. So December 19th, live depot, he notes whatnot, right? But admitted he did not contact whatnot to learn if they had interfered specifically. So, do you have any evidence John Cook made direct contact? So, what's funny about this, by the way, is the idea of direct contact. See, that's their whole gambit. They're saying, well, you don't have us calling and using our John Cook, under my account named John Cook. We have, again, messaging where John Cook is making fake accounts to do damage. Shara showed one of those in the communications where he's bragging about how he's going to make fake accounts to do shit. So that's going to be a real hard one to pull. I would pull that one in. I'd be like, look at this shit. So, do you have any evidence John Cook made direct contact with whatnot? I'll contact whatnot and find out. Do you have any evidence of LMNOP doing that? I have evidence your client's saying, report everything I do, and actually looked at the exhibits. So, well, I have them saying to report everything, and there are reports. Weird, isn't it? Do you have evidence that she directly contacted it? You know, again, they want to play the whole, not that she had other agents do it. Oh, she didn't directly do it. Oh, but she told everybody, she and these people that, again, they are PRing, kicking out for her. They've publicly admitted that they're doing stuff on her behalf. They want to pretend that. I imagine what would be really interesting in the context with whatnot, by the way, and I hope Jeremy Hales did it this way. He's a smart guy, so I would imagine you would have any complaint logged. I imagine you would have it on the date, you know, have him pull it up. But I'd be curious about tying public statements that they've made to dates when the complaints come in. You have people bragging in like 2L chat, for example, that they did this, that, oh man, you know, they created an account just to flag Jeremy Hales. So, I mean, you have these people that definitely admit that because of the EOPR, they did it. So, like I said, it's kind of fascinating that we're to the point that we pretend What's going to be really interesting is if that stuff goes to court, do we get to the point where they end up throwing each other under the bus for this kind of stuff? No. That was actually 2L that did that. No. It was actually it wasn't John Cook. It wasn't LMNOP that did it. It was blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It'll be fascinating to see if they try to eat each other if it goes forward. You already again through statements are made by Jeremy Hales. You have a mole. That mole, that would be proof that what actually that would prove to me. And you know, I think somebody being a mole there would actually. I don't think that would be a stupid thing. I think having these people take you down would be very dumb. Letting them take you down would be a very dumb idea. I would not let one of these people bury me because they do nothing for you. That's why I thought it was fascinating, like Stupid Dave, for example. I was always fascinated by Stupid Dave and his incessant clinging on to these people. Because they do nothing. They treat him like garbage. In fact, I remember his posts. We looked through them where he was complaining about John Cook essentially being a piece of crap, piece of garbage. So they treat him like garbage, but he clings on. That's why I thought maybe he is the quote unquote mole. Do I know that for a fact? No, I have no idea, but it would have made sense to me. Because like I said, they treated him like absolute trash. And they did. For people that are supposed to be your buddies, your pals. Oh, they show up when they want those dollary dues from David the Donor. They're hoping they can get him on board. My God, by the way. If they end up getting him back after the way that they treated that man, God, that would be so dumb. I wouldn't put it past one of these people to jump back on that train. You know, they complain about everyone else, but you know, at the end of the day, none of these people stuck up for that guy. None of them. He had more support from people that they proclaimed to hate than he did from any of these people that supposedly are out there defending him. 1 second, I'm typing something out. Isn't that weird? It feels like an abusive relationship, you know? Somebody gets treated like garbage and they keep coming back despite the fact that they treat them like absolute trash. I almost feel bad. But again, you know, they can disconnect from that relationship. So again, maybe you put enough money into it that after a while you can disconnect. I don't know. I don't understand. But anyway, so they go through exhibits A, B, and C. They say based on that summary judgment. So what are the exhibits? Let's look at them real quick. So exhibit A, give me a second here. I took it off the screen to make sure there was nothing that would pop up like an address or something. I'm just making sure because I don't trust them. And I was afraid maybe I missed something. Because they're jackass enough to dox somebody. They've doxed addresses before. Remember, they did that to a police officer and other people too. Okay, so check this out here. Exhibit A. Again, this is part of their transcript. Again, this is their big go-to. This is what they think will win them a case. You have, again, Exhibit A. That would be statements of, it's so fascinating, by the way, the questions here, when they attach it, you would have thought, why not put more into that? You would think, okay, look, I want to show you something here. So when they quoted Jeremy Hales, they could have taken anything else, but they took this piece right here and they stopped with this answer. Now, me, if I were going to include that, I would have included more because I wouldn't want the last phrase. You remember the last thing that people read is probably the strongest thing that you're going to attach. Correct? If you're going to take anything from an example, those last sentences you read are definitely going to stick to you better than the first sentences. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to end on something that doesn't make your client look like a teetotal train wreck. They could have attached more in that. But instead, Bruce, being the absolute jackass that he is, ended on a statement that, in my opinion, would be a terrible one because it makes Cook and Preston look terrible. The statement of Jeremy Hales arped my daughter is more than enough. That was the statement they decided to end on. Again, I get what he wanted to argue, but it was stupid to just clip that and to stop right there. You don't want to refresh that idea in a judge's mind. And that's what he did. He put more of it into something else. But now on this too, talking about whatnot, I thought this was fascinating because he starts out with this quote. Look at this here. This is the beginning of it. All right. Report YouTube, report Facebook, report everything to the point where YouTube did remove all of my links to my options based on the reports of What the Hales media ecosystem, which is my main marketing toward my options, which is supplementing my current loss of income on YouTube and Facebook, which now I'm going to lose income on whatnot as well due to it. So he starts out, he didn't have to put that in there. Why would you put in where people are reporting YouTube, they're reporting Facebook, they're reporting everything on platforms? Why wouldn't you just cut to right here? I mean, he has the ability. It's his exhibit. He can start wherever he wants to. He didn't have to include that at all, but he did. I would not have included that. I would have left that off. I would have started with what I quoted. Do you have any evidence at all that John Cook did if he was going to do it? And again, it's a stupid idea because his whole framing of this is, well, did John Cook himself do it? What did he get other people to do it? Because if you get other people to destroy a business, that's still a problem. You know, your actions resulting in destroying a business is still you destroying a business. Like, that's an issue there. If you tell people, hey, let's go in and take this stuff down, let's destroy X, Y, and Z, and people actually listen and they destroy X, Y, and Z, well, I think it's pretty clear cut that that's a problem for you. He would understand that. See, these idiots over there, they can't understand that if you take other laws, for example, you would understand that the culpability of other crimes like murder, again, I'm going to murder, again, I'm not comparing one to the other. I'm just saying you would understand that if you got somebody to do something on your behalf, destroying other things, destroying lives that way, you would understand you'd be culpable, right? But these people want to pretend that they don't understand the culpability that comes with destroying a person's life in the way that it happened. And make no mistake, they did that. I mean, we have seen enough freaking evidence. I mean, it's just mind blowing. I can't, by the way, believe how much I was going through. I was going through all this stuff that dealt with David the donor. And man, you talk about treating that guy like garbage. I mean, holy crap. There are entire folders worth of screenshots. They put up videos dedicated to ruining him. All of those people that are trying to get him back, by the way, 2L, John, all those people talk shit about this dude. They're trying because they need money. They absolutely need money. And they're desperate for it to get back. If that guy, man, if he does go, I swear, that would be so embarrassing. I hope again, it's a sad reality when the people that you proclaim to despise, they do more in calling out the damage done to you than the people that you pay money to help you out. Man, I ran across, by the way, check this out. So when I was live streaming with Megan one night, I decided that I would play with AI. Check this out. I decided I would put together the mac and cheese, the deity. Look at him. Isn't he pretty? By the way, check him out here. Let's watch him arise. Arise. Look, they're getting together. Arise. Oh my God, he's turning into something. He's destroying his throne. He's consuming it all. Oh, the throne of mac and cheese lies. Some days, man. I forgot I'd made those. I found that in a folder. Like, oh my God. That's what I'm doing, by the way. If you wonder sometime, if you're like, man, I wonder what Tug is doing on the stream right there where he's typing away. I was creating a macaroni and cheese gun and having them bring him to the forefront. Like I said, I've been going through, though, a lot. Like during streams lately, I've been organizing, not the filings. I keep a very concise file on our main cases. I keep a lot of stuff that's, again, it's very concise. You can find whatever you want. But I kept finding that there were certain things that Bruce had said, for example, that I couldn't find just right from go like that. And I wanted them. Bruce, he's made some comments out there that are not, let's just say they're not good. They don't look good for him. And I want to be able to reference those from go. I want to be able to see that stuff. And God, what is that? You got to remember too. Check this out. That whole contract thing that we were talking about, I think this is so wild. Remember, when they discussed that, when they signed it off, remember in June, they signed, and in August, we have discussion of the anti-what-the-hell's media ecosystem. But in that pro bono thing, again, where they said, he's representing her for nothing. Remember their whole thing. So she says, I'm reading this, I only get 40%. And he's like, no, you get 60. The lawyers get 40%. So again, you notice they've avoided this conversation. They're trying not to have this discussion because that was an out and out lie. He did not represent them pro bono. He represented them via contingency. And contingency is a totally different beast. Like pretending that he somehow did this. I mean, you got to think about that. If I say that I'm doing something out of the goodness of my heart, because that's what it is. I'm doing this all for free. If I tell you that, then again, you assume that on the back end, I'm not going to make money. That's why these people gave money. Some of these people in the ecosystem considered Bruce some kind of godsend. Because again, the framework was that he found this so offensive, so egregious, that he had to intervene. He had to intervene because these poor defenseless people. And yet when you look at what happened there, that's not what he was doing. He had a payday set up on the back end. He thought he was going to get him payday. He thought he was going to get an easy payday. Crazy. Let's go over some shit. Death Angel, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate that. By the way, there were 2,400 of you folks that made it, and I forgot to freaking tag anything. So on a weekend, that's awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, right now, we're still holding right at 2,000, which is good. We've been on for a freaking 2 hours plus. We're holding on to that. It's good. I forgot to tag in, like I said. So thank you all. I appreciate that. But Death Angel, again, 5 gifted memberships. Thank you for that. Death Angel, I appreciate you too. Very much. Love to all of you folks, by the way. Love to the mods. I cannot say how much I appreciate all you folks. Max Lab, thanks for the 2. Judge smacks Bruce down. Indeed. Indeed. And again, Max Lab was one of the first people to point this stuff out. And I thought it was funny because the 2L, their statement, let me pull that up. I just thought it was so funny, because they tried to frame this as some kind of epic win. You know, they were like, oh man, look, he's done this. It's so great. By the way, it's so funny. Just check this out. I mean, you think about it. The judge kicks it to the curb. But this is the way it's framed, just to give you an idea of how pathetic. And they know it is. They have to admit it. Do you file a motion for summary judgment? Although there's this stay, so it's been stricken. So it's not part. I thought they told you, by the way, that having something stricken meant you're terrible. It meant that anybody that's around you, the people giving advice, the lawyers attached to that, they were terrible. That's what they said about Randy. If you had it when he had filing stricken, oh my God. But even worse than that, what they don't tell you, again, is this judge has made it clear he doesn't want more summary judgment filings. They do the 2 things the judge said do not do. And they applaud it like it's a win. And that Exhibit C, like I said, so dumb. John's not, except for, again, Lynette threw him under the bus saying that he wrote signs. She didn't. He did. So that's beautiful. That is beautiful. They hold up. Man, Bruce is such a good lawyer that he had to quit. He had to run away. So yeah, Max Lab. Good times, buddy. I love you. Fallen Hero, thank you for that gifted membership. Thanks to you, Fallen Hero, by the way. I appreciate the heck out of you, my friend. Sister Sal dropped 5 giftos. Thank you, Sister Sal. That is amazing. Appreciate you there. And on top of it, but yeah, got to SmackDown and fast. I mean, within 2 hours. It was kicked out almost immediately when it gets filed. The judge sees it and was like, get this crap out of here. This is not supposed to be here at all. The judge said, I know you're filing. I know this case by heart. I know it by heart. I shouldn't do it. Don't file any more crap. What do we get? We get more crap filed. And the freaking things that he said not to file. Rachel, thanks for the 30 months there. 30 months is amazing. Tell them welcome to stream tonight. Found out Dad has a stage 4 prostate today. Man, bit of shock. Treatment starts soon. Prayers to your father, man. That's rough. Again, I remember when I went through everything with my father. What you got to do, you provide support to your loved one. And if you need support yourself, make sure that you get it too. Oftentimes, we will forget to get support for ourselves because we're looking out for someone else. So if you find it's too heavy for you, make sure that you get help as well. And love to you, Rachel. Appreciate you. I have my favorite. Thanks for the 2. Breaking news, mug fighting. I know. I will not be surprised when that comes up. It's funny, every weekend, or if like I'm not on a stream, that we'll have that. Like where the stream was this afternoon, I would not be surprised to see something like that. Oh my God, they're fighting, you know. And it's like, yeah, actually I was out with the fam doing stuff, but hey. So funny. Sister Sal, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships on time. Sister Sal, thank you again. I appreciate you very much so. Max Lab, Megan's in the chat. I'm not surprised. She was messaging us. She always has the link if she wants to come in. She has easy just popping in, so she can. We answered that one, Bonnie, but I wanted to thank you yet again. Thank you, Bonnie. Chance, thanks for the 5 there. Now the BBB's off the case. Do you think case 1 and 2 will be combined? That's what's supposed to, what they're supposed to be aiming for. We will see. Like I said, we'll see how the judge treats stuff. And like I said, I'll be curious what survives if everybody, that's been listed, if claims against them all survive, or certain people, certain people can get kicked loose. You could have everybody come through. So it'll be interesting to see how everything situates. But yes, the plan would be for sure to combine the cases. Like that would be the way that goes forward. Now, do I think that it will happen? The likelihood is increased. I don't know. You never know with a judge who will go forward. The one thing that judge noted in his mindset was that, suing the lawyer, and you didn't think he would react. Again, I think that the judge, in making statements like that, if he does not allow Bruce to go forward for some reason or other people, you also have a very good case of potential appealable error in that, because his statements read like bias. So we'll see. We'll see if everybody goes forward. And that's really possible if everybody gets combined in a case. And if it doesn't happen, how exactly you handle that too. Again, that's one of the things I love about cases, when I don't want to have, again, I know I say this a million times, I would not want to deal with this. This is a terrible situation for anybody to deal with. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But if you're going to, like on the outside, if you're just watching, it's fascinating to watch from the outside. Because when you look at it, you learn from all of these cases, and they're trying a different approach than I think I have ever seen. I've never seen somebody go at the type of business interference that is being stated. And it'll be interesting to see how that rolls forward. It seems like an interesting claim. Again, the defamation claims, straight up, that stuff, I mean, you would think a lot of that could easily be proven. Or, again, you just have to see how a judge responds to it. But I think it's more likely to be combined now that Bruce is off of that. Thanks for the living rage. Hey, thanks you for being here, Chance. I appreciate it. Becky, thanks for the 5. Interesting. They can afford $200 in rocks, but won't put your money toward the house. Indeed. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Just Jay here, by the way. Thanks for Tug's doing that for the YouTube content. Indeed, I do run a YouTube show. It always makes me laugh when they're like, "Oh my God, you do stuff for it." Yes, I do run a show. So I will admit I cover as part of a show, huh? That makes it a business, doesn't it? And so when these people interfere and they threaten to strike and stuff, you remember that they're admitting that they know that you run a show. That always amazes me. Like, why would you admit to knowledge of the very thing you shouldn't be gunning for? You shouldn't be interfering. They play around like they're somehow unaware of the damage that they try to do. And yet, God, give me a second here. I'm still organizing stuff even while I'm talking. I've been organizing these freaking screenshots for freaking weeks now. Best friends for life. Thanks for the 3 months. The filing show, no attorney has picked them up. That's right. That is indeed correct too. Even if they picked them up on federal case 2, federal case, again, this stuff, here's one of the reasons that people won't want to pick this up is, well, if you look at everything that's going on, this is going to be a lot of time and a lot of potential, like money and everything else. So, man, I was looking through statements, by the way, of Bruce making fun of Jeremy and how he looks, talking about his head and stuff. And I thought it was fascinating that Bruce makes those kind of comments, but he calls it anti-Semitism if somebody makes fun of him. Isn't it fascinating? So, DeFloofy, I hit this before, but I appreciate you, DeFloofy. No, buck naked. What? Tug's a YouTuber? I know it's terrible, isn't it? What the heck? What the what now? Angela, thanks for the 10. Happy Mother's Day, Tug. You and the girl should plant a tree or bush, watch it grow over the years. Also, happy birthday later this week. Thank you, first of all. Yeah, we've grown stuff together, but that might be interesting to maybe plant a tree out back. That would be fun. I think I might do that this year. I think that's a good idea. Man, thanks for the 20 there. This is for the girls to restock their candy. Sorry, but I don't like saying kids. I get you there, and thank you too. Appreciate it. Andre, thanks for 3 months. Lynette, John, and the rest of the misfits need some alone time in their prison solitary. They keep aiming like they do. It's amazing. I keep wondering, like, how many times can you violate? How many times can you you go out when you have a protective order, go against the protective order intentionally, have other people do it. They argue about filming with their brother. They're like, oh my God, he filmed us while we were on our property. Okay. Well, I do seem to notice you taking a lot of time to inhabit these live streams of people that you say that you have no connection with. They talk about, I actually found a screenshot of Preston talking about wanting to get the protective order removed, so I get my free speech back. And I thought that was fascinating because she's sitting in the 2Ls chat and she's talking about the protective order. Like, you can't deny that that's what she's doing here. The conversation is about the protective order. You would think that they would not do that. They would be smart enough, but they're not. Misbehaving. Thanks for the gifted membership. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. What's up, Wes? Look up Super Dave Osborne copyright infringement. What about, Super Dave Osborne? What is Super Dave Osborne? Copyright infringement. Let's look at it. Yeah, I know who. I know the Obama. What's fascinating is, I wonder, is Super Dave, is that name copyrighted? Is the name Super Dave copyrighted? I'm just curious about that. Super Dave copyright is Super Dave is the name copyrighted? No, it's not eligible because of, let's see. I'm trying to see if they've tried to trademark it with anything. If it's covered under an, let's see, Super Dave trademark. See, these trademarks are fascinating to look at. Here, I'm going to finish this because I'll get off in the weeds looking at that. But I am curious if it's using like anything that's been copyrighted off that. Because people who like to pull that, you would think they know better. So I caught these, but I want to give everybody love here. Misbehaving, thank you. This is when the little one was here. Sister Sal, thank you. Misbehaving, thank you again. Andre, thank you. Rose, thank you. Candace is watching, thank you. Wanda, again, thank you. Again, I want to just thank everybody yet again. Sister Sal, again, thank you. Misbehaving, yet again, thank you. Arizona Hawk, thank you for that. Heather, thank you. The Floofy, thank you. I love the Floofy. Yeah, that's so funny. Bonnie, thank you. Getting there, Sissy too. Appreciate it. Buck, thank you. Dr. Breed, thank you too. The broccoli thing. You should have seen her face, by the way, when I said that's actually for broccoli. She had that look like, oh, gross. Emma, thank you too. Wanda, thank you as well. Dead Angel, thank you. Maria, thank you, by the way, for that note there. And yeah, she does. You know, it is funny. Like she does come down and check on me, make sure I'm okay. They always check in. I think that's fun. Joan, thank you. Green Veggie Beast, thank you as well. S. Sean, thank you as well. Again. Jack's mom, we got the happy birthday song too. I thought that was awesome. And we got the Mother's Day, shout out there too from her. Best friends for life. Thank you. Just one person's opinion. She liked the she liked the name Best Friends for Life. She loved that, by the way. But naked. Thank you again. The Floofy. Thank you again. Lori dropped 5 giftos in there too. Thank you for that, Lori. That was awesome of you too. Mistrust Loon, thank you again. Wanda, thank you. Heather, yes, I agree too. Those are the best parts and everything. George, by the way, happy birthday to George. Happy birthday from all of us to you. Yeah, happy birthday. May these people leave you alone soon. Indeed. Kathy, thanks for the 5 there. For Lug too. I don't know if I caught the back end. Yeah, I did that one. I'm pretty sure. But if I did before, thank you, Kathy. Appreciate you. Lori, thanks for the 20 there. To make the haters angry. It doesn't take anything to make people angry. That's the funny thing, That's so funny. But thanks for the 5 there. Just realize, Buzz is a Pastafarian. It worships the grounded incarnation of the flying spaghetti demon. Indeed. Now, Cynic in Chief brings up a good point here. Jeremy's current pleading are lackluster for several defendants, and a competent lawyer could get 60+% of claims dismissed. The signs of doom. LP and JC, yes. The major stuff, like I said, we will see how people will go forward. There are some, again, I think this statement attached to it. I expect that Jeremy Hales is just trying to get to discovery. We'll get a lot more specific pleadings after then. He's got enough, though, on specific people, yes. LP, JC, BBB, LW right now. He definitely has, like I said, those 4 people, I feel like they are on lock. There are other people, depending, when Ray Bowcrusher came up, for example, at first, I, for the life of me, could not figure out what a Ray Bonecrusher you could lock him down in specifically. But then I listened to his live streams after the fact. And I thought, my God, man, some of the stuff he locked himself into after. You could just bring up, I was like, are you kidding me? Why would you make those statements? Other people, again, I wonder about them. I don't know if everybody survives claims, but that's typical too. Again, people have no idea. And I think like Cynic in Chief, you've been around enough filings and enough court cases that that cases getting to the point, like when we see the Preston versus, or rather the Hales versus Preston and Cook federal case number 1, getting to where that's at, that is not a normal thing. It is hard to get a case to that point. So for them to survive to that point, for them, you to have a federal judge talking about how, yes, I'm going to let this go forward. I'm going to let it go to jury. That's a big deal. And I agree. Those signs, they doom them. Those signs undo them. Because when you take those signs in that handwriting and you compare it, you have a real problem for them. And that's nothing. You can try to talk your way out of it or PR your way out of it. But unfortunately for them, the PR crap, everything that they pull online, that's not real life. That's not outside. Outside it's a different world, Getting a court to see it the same way. Let's see. Let me see if Just J Hip is live, by the way. Give me a second. Hey, kiddo, what are you doing? Is that you, kiddo? I hear you behind me. I hear you behind me. I hear you trying to hide behind me. Are you trying to hide behind me?
What's a good hiding place that Mom comes? Cause
I just don't want to turn my chair and run you over with it. Yeah, so Just J-Hip is
love you.
Is live. We're going to actually raid Just J-Hip. So give me a minute there. Hey, kiddo, what are you doing?
Hey, can you just tell that you do an audio portion?
Can I what?
Did Dad do an audio portion? I think I was asleep or not, Mom.
Oh, you want me to pretend I'm doing an impression of you? That's not really you?
If Mom's awake, because maybe...
you don't want anybody to know, like if they listen or something out there, you don't want people to know you're awake?
Mom. Like Mom.
Okay. Man, listen to my impression of my daughter who is totally not awake.
Hey.
Yeah, that's my perfect impression of her, isn't it? That's so good. I am so good at pretending to be her because this totally couldn't be her because she's supposed to be in bed. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? My impression?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing. All right. So can you say we are going to redirect now?
Yes.
You can? Okay. Say we're going to redirect you.
We go with you.
Okay. And well, let me make sure there's nothing else we need to shout out real quick. So tell everybody thank you.
Thank you.
And to tell them that umbrella guy and the big girl umbrella girl right here, yeah, that we sent them over. Let's go raid Just J-Hip. Appreciate you folks, and we will see you